We got this old box here that controls the sprinkler system. Having another issue with the sprinkler system, which I'll show later. But pulled out all the wires. It was working fine, but there's an issue with one of the solenoids in one of the fronts. So we're gonna replace this, and went and I picked up a whole setup of items to replace it. So got the outdoor enclosure to keep it watertight, and then we got this Rachio E3 3E sprinkler system. We got some other components, some things that I ordered that I thought I was going to use, but I'm not going to end up using them. Some watertight seals, some elbows. I have all the costs and everything that I'll post in the bottom. And then got a new watertight plug. We're going to run this one hardwired through the bottom, but we're still going to have a cover, so if we want to run anything else in the outlet and system. So we're going to cut down all these pieces and get them all installed. So this house has a 6-stage system. So the system is basically the left side of the house, the right side of the house, the backyard, and front right for some reason, and then front center. Now the front left, when you're like looking out from the front of the house, is actually connected to the side over here. So there's the 6 phases, and then there's one for a remote pump. I don't think that actually works, but it was plugged into the old one, so I'm going to plug it into the new one. And then yet again, this switch, we're going to put a new cover on it up here. You can see I already did some marking here for where the screw holes for the box are going to go up. I'm going to put some epoxy on the back so it seals from the moisture. I'm going to pull out all these old anchors that are in the wall. There's no reason for them to be there anymore, and they're just rotting. Probably fill that in with some epoxy just so it looks fine. So it's super hot in Texas and my camera's overheating, but we're just trimming this down so we can go, because the hole under here is 3/4 inch and this is a 1/2 inch. So we decided, instead of like replacing the whole thing, we'll trim down this piece over here, put an adapter to 3/4, and then we'll run the 3/4 in there with the watertight seal. So I know the last part was pretty long and boring, trying to do this conduit work and just kind of get it all worked in so it's relatively waterproof. We're going to paint this gray. So this box is pretty cool with the conduit and everything, making it waterproof down here, tightening that all up, tighten this up, tighten up here. I still have to tighten that right there. But it has the connectors here and it has the outlet, so when you plug in the box, it just goes in here and everything's pretty much water resistant, watertight. But other than that, I gotta get the color combination off my phone, which I'm using because my other camera is just overheating in the sun. So we're gonna go the next time we'll check in and everything will be plugged up. So there it is, all wired up. It's not really a big deal. Red is control. The white one is supposed to be if you have an extra pump. It was hooked up on the old one, but I guess that's if you have a well or something like that. But we're hooked up to the city water supply, but I'm going to keep it hooked up. That other one was hooked up over in this box to the P. And it's a P hooks up to M on this unit, so I just hooked it up to M to leave it there. And then obviously the 6 zones. This controls up to 8 zones. The other one controls up to 16 zones, but we only have 6 zones, so it's no big deal. So that's basically how that's working. And then put the cover on, get this box closed up. This is basically done for here. I've already had it hooked up just to see if I get the water system working, and I got it to control all of them, but because I have that solenoid issue on in the front yard, I have to turn it off. So I'm basically just installing this. I have to order a new solenoid, and hopefully that fixes the front valve. Otherwise it'll just run forever. So I can manually turn everything on. I'll turn on the valve and then I can turn on everything else to water the rest of the lawn. But right now, if I leave the main water supply on, because the solenoid's broken on the front yard sector, it just keeps running non-stop. And I found out the hard way that it turned on in the middle of the night to water everything. And then I went to the old house to go and basically continue to pack stuff up, water the lawn, get ready to move out of that place. And it was still running. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe it's just a long day it's running. I disconnected the old system. It kept running. And that's how I realized that the solenoid was broken. And that's a whole nother thing, trying to find the little solenoids underneath the lawn hidden when they put sod over all the solenoid holster. So you just got to go over there and basically dig through the ground and try to hit something hard, and then you know you've hit the cover for the solenoid. So yeah, I realized that, but that'll be another video we do it. So now we're gonna go work on here, hook this up, and get this all buttoned up and closed up. So there it is, all hooked up. Got this on. This swings both ways, up and over. They had it plugged in here, but it wasn't very waterproof. They just had the opening open, so I figured I'd put this in here, and that would keep it a little bit more waterproof. Even though we're not using it, we're going to use the hardwired in the bottom. Comes across hardwired, goes into the bottom there, comes across. This is with the cover on. Pull the cover off, see all the wires. This is water resistant, and there's the Bluetooth adapter. Like I said, I already hooked this up, but I had to take it all off because I didn't have all the pieces I needed to install it. But now it's all installed, and I'm going to go and turn it on, hook it up. When I hooked it up into the switch, I made sure I ran this one off of this switch, so if there's some sort of short or something, it'll pop this circuit instead of running it straight to the hard wiring and then popping the main breaker. So this should work with that, so this should be good. Now I just need to go and turn the power back on. So the system's booting up right now. You can see the LED and stuff, so you can actually come in here and manually turn on sections. Once it goes blue, everything should be hooked up. The cool thing about the system was when it wasn't hooked up to the net this morning, it ran a search, and then it was like, it sent me a message from the app, and it sent me an email saying that my system was offline and that it wasn't working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run over, turn the main water on. It's going to turn the front on because I can't turn it off right now. It's like a $20 solenoid that I have to go buy, but not really that big of a deal, knowing that when we bought this house, we didn't even realize it had a irrigation system, so it's kind of nice. So we're going to go run a quick test by, we'll manually activate each of the sections, minus the front yard, which will be running once I turn the water on. Something weird about this one here. This one always soaks me whenever I turn on the water because I guess it's connected to zone 2, or it's supposed to be zone 3, but the front center yard, zone 2, I think it's zone 4. It's really weird the way they numbered them. Zone 5 is the back corner, zone 6 is the back, zone 1 is the other side. But this will start, so I put this bucket here because this will start spraying me if I'm stupid. And I don't turn on, so yeah, front zone sprinklers are on. But we need to have it on, otherwise there'll be no water for us to test other zones. Make sure everything's hooked up and working. So we'll run through the system. Front yard, zone 2 is always on. It never shuts off. So to run a manual mode, we come over here. You basically pick your zone. We're going to activate zone 1, and then you hit start. And it shows zone 1's working. So we'll come in here, hit stop. We already checked zone 1, so we're going to go back through this. I didn't mention it earlier. When it's running amber, it basically means that it's not connected to the Wi-Fi. So I had to click the Wi-Fi button, reset it. I'll go through that maybe in another video when I start showing actually how you work the system on the phone, but it's not a big deal. We're going to continue going through the other functions. We're going to skip 2 because, like I said before, 2 is always open. Don't have a choice. Wait for the solenoid to come in. But we're going to go to 3. And we're going to run 3. And then you'll see it'll tell you that you're running 3. And I just did that, and it said it quick run. So you can see on my watch with the Wi-Fi, it's set to quick run 3 minutes. So you can actually just do that right from the unit to quick run it. So this is 2, like I mentioned before. I have another video for 2. And then section 3 is right here, these sprinkler systems. So E3 is working. Obviously getting the air out of the system. There's valves underground right here. Once I'm done with this, what I'll probably do, since I didn't run it yesterday because I was working on it, I'll end up running it for a cycle of 3 minutes for all the different sections, and then I'll go back over and turn off the main water supply. So to stop it, just hit stop, and then we're going to go over to 4, and we're going to hit run. Four is that section on the other side of the house. Weird thing about this, in that corner, this one's supposed to have six spouts. It has 6 spouts. For some reason there's a 7th spout over there, the one that soaks me, that's connected to region 2, so there's that. We're going to stop this one. Stop. 5. Run. We can see it from over here, 5s. Running over there in the back corner. There's only 3 for that one, but they're rotational. That basically waters the corner of the yard. It seems to be working fine. Haven't had any issues. Those are the ones that actually rotate. So that's working. We're going to stop that. And now we go into 6. So, interesting enough, they did the right thing. It's just hard to find them. They resodded over the whole yard, so we actually have the diagram of where all the valves are, where all the heads are and everything. It's just when they sodded over it, you have to basically stick like a putty knife into the ground, digging around, looking for when you hit that top so you can cut the sod, fold it back, and then access the solenoids and all the valves. So that's all working, and yet again, they gave me the warning on my my watch, like, hey, you did a quick startup, it's going to run for 3 minutes, and then it's going to shut off. But that's about it. Whole system. So that's basically everything. I'm going to set this up, start doing some video editing. This is one of the first rooms that we're going to remodel in the house. I got this computer specifically for 4K video editing because my old one didn't support 4K. I have another monitor coming in. It's just coming back from Afghanistan, so I can hook this one up. This has my old video editing software and audio software, so we'll see which system I have to use to get all this to work. But I'm shooting in 2.7K, so I should be able to use this one, but I just have to download some stuff on this computer to get it running. So that's basically it.